Good evening. You're right on time for breaking today news right here on Switch TV. I am Lincoln Wambugu. Our sign language interpreter is Teresia Washira. We have a lot in line for you tonight, but first, let's take a look at the headlines. Members of Parliament blame the handshake between President Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga for the high cost of living. As the world marks International Peace Day, the Kenya Red Cross Society aims at cultivating political tolerance among the youth ahead of the 2022 general polls. With an uptick in school fires, records reveal that a majority of schools have not yet implemented safety standards manual produced in 2008 by the Ministry of Education. ODM party has vowed to obey the 2022 general elections as long as it will be free, fair and credible. The party further adding that a free economic, social and political country will be achieved if the electoral body will be up to the task to perform its duties with honesty. Robert Oma with the details.
As the political steam is getting hotter in the country in readiness for the much anticipated 2022 general elections, the ODM party has sworn to respect the results that will be announced by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission if only the process will be candid.
We commit here to accept the results of the election in 2022 for as long as they are free, fair and credible.
The National Cohesion and Integration Commission, this time more than ever, has preached its commitment before, during and after the general elections with no attachment to any kind of violence.
We need to have a country that cannot every time be seen as a country that is hell-bent on violence every time there is election.
ODM has further condemned the Deputy President's William Ruto bottom-up approach, terming it as a corny tactic that will never see the light of day.
We believe that there is no economic model that you can take to a country that is in turmoil. We have asked this question before.
Robert Oma, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Robert Oma. ODM party leader Raila Odinga has outlined a raft of intervention measures he says are capable of addressing challenges facing millions of youth in the country, including unemployment. Odinga stated that youth deserve decent jobs and not kazi ni kazi, as propagated by Deputy President William Ruto. Our senior political reporter Joel Chacha with more detail.
Speaking during the burial ceremony of Molo Life Group founder Kibira Mushai, who died last week after short illness in Molo, Nakuru County, ODM party leader Raila Odinga has continued to popularize his Azimio la Umoja slogan.
Tunataka Wakenya wote wawe wanaishi pamoja kwa njia ya amani. Hiyo ndio mimi nataka.
While appearing to castigate Deputy President William Ruto with his kazi ni kazi slogan, Odinga has insisted on the need for more jobs to be created for youth.
Kazi iwe kazi ya maana. Mimi nataka kuona vijana wetu wanafanya kazi wa maana. Nimeongea kwa kirefu na ndugu yangu Uhuru Kenyatta. Yeye anajua pale mvua iliwapiga. Okay? Lakini sasa hawa wanakuambia wewe kazi ni kazi. Hawa watoto ambao uliahidi laptop sasa wanakwenda kufanya secondary na sasa bado hiyo laptop hawajaona. Na unasema kazi ni kazi. Kazi tunaweza kupatia vijana wetu kazi wa maana.
The host Governor Lee Kinyanjui threw his support behind Odinga, saying he had the interest of Kenyans at heart. Representing the Deputy President during the event was Nakuru Senator Susan Kihika. Joel Chacha, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Joel Chacha. Plans to sensitize the youth before the general elections are underway, with Kenya Red Cross Society Secretary General Dr. Asha Mohammed saying it is aimed at cultivating political tolerance among the youth. While speaking at the marking of the International Peace Day, the emphasis lay on the theme Elections Bila Noma. Shilling reports.
Through songs and dance, the message of the International Peace Day, which is recovering better together, was timely as Kenya heads into an electioneering period. With only 11 months to the 2022 general elections, the major concern of many is youth being used to cause violence, as witnessed in previous elections.
Youth play a critical role in conflict prevention and peace building and can be peace agents, but also agents of violence if not well guided, engaged and mentored.
Many of these hate mongers have gone online. They have migrated from political platforms and into the social media.
However, youths are now being involved in productive initiatives to prevent them from being used as war machines.
Because works with the youth to develop skills, build their capacity to be able to start businesses and also gain employment. In addition, youth are also trained in life skills such as communication, stress management, conflict resolution, to enhance management of day-to-day situations in life.
Even as the International Day for Peace is marked in Kenya, it is quite a delicate time for Kenyans as we head into the electioneering period, which oftentimes youths have been used to propagate violence, this now necessitating for peace campaigns across the country. Shilangatich, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Shilangatich. May peace prevail. Members of Parliament have blamed the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga for the rising cost of living in the country. While addressing a petition on the rising cost of fuel, members of Parliament have asked the Parliamentary Committee on Energy to investigate the reasons behind the rise in the cost of fuel. Our reporter Scott Muroki has more on this.
The former leader of majority in the National Assembly, Aden Duale, has challenged members of Parliament to come up with a bill challenging the rise in fuel.
The president cannot use Article 115 to harass. And the whole thing is about IMF, Mr. Speaker. IMF have said we must charge VAT. This president is using his powers to make innocent hustlers and Kenyans suffer, Mr. Speaker. And this House cannot just sit and debate. Mr. Speaker, allow a private member to bring a bill tomorrow, allow him a waiver on the pre-publication period. By next week, Tuesday, the bill goes to the president. He brings a veto. We raise the two-thirds majority.
The member of Parliament for Wajir East, Amin Rashid Kasim, has blamed the handshake for the rise in the cost of living.
Also blamed the handshake, which has allowed both the Jubilee and the opposition to come together to pass the VAT 8 and all the levies that had been there. We have not.
The member of Parliament of Samburu North, Letoimaga Alois Moga, has highlighted the plight in northern Kenya since the prices in those areas are much higher than the rest of the country.
In the north, this is an issue thing. As we speak now, prices of fuel has gone to 135 here. In Baragoi is 150. Whoa. Beyond Baragoi is 160. And we are being ravaged by drought, COVID, and including bandits actually.
The Speaker has directed that the matter will go to the Committee of Finance, who will investigate and report their findings in Parliament.
Thank you, Scott Muroki. That story prompts us to ask a question of the day. Are members of Parliament to blame for the rise in the price of fuel and high cost of living in Kenya? Are members of Parliament to blame for the rise in price of fuel and high cost of living in Kenya? Send in your feedback through SMS line 111 at Switch TV Kenya and at Lincoln Wombogo. Now, elsewhere on Ofafa Jericho, with an uptick in school fires recently, records reveal that a majority of schools in Kenya have not yet implemented safety standards manual produced in 2008 by the Ministry of Education. The recent school fire case being that of Ofafa Jericho High School, which razed down one dormitory, leading to the school's immediate closure. Mariam Jahid has the story.
This is the situation in one of the cubicle of Ofafa Jericho dormitory. The remains of metallic beds with mattress covered with soot as boxes are lying down everywhere. It's over 16 hours and the smell from burnt materials still in the air. The fire broke out at around 8:30 p.m. at night, and it's alleged that it was started by one of the students after they refused to attend night preps. However, the board committee of Jericho School has closed the school until Monday next week. The Form 4s who are currently doing the examinations have also been forced to go home until Friday this week. According to Metropolitan Hospital Manager Elijah Ongeri, the students who are hospitalized after they inhaled smoke have been discharged.
Had like 10 students who had previous asthma. So those are the ones actually who had those symptoms, severe symptoms, but then once they received oxygen, all of them got quite better.
Parents who have assessed the damaged dormitory have called on the school management to upgrade the dormitory.
Sehemu ambayo moto ilianzia ni kwa dirisha. Kwa hivyo ni kama kuna mtu ambaye aliangusha miale ya moto.
Vitanda siko karibu sana. Kama angewezekana serikali ingewasaidia at least wajenge mabweni yawe mengi kwa sababu idadi ya wanafunzi nayo pia ni kubwa.
Following the fire incidents that occurred in Ofafa Jericho High School, the fire that razed down one dormitory, the students have been released to go home for 3 days as the investigation of the cause and who took part in that fire incident starts. Mariam Jahid, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mariam Jahid. That is an unfortunate incident. Now, children in the country can now have access to pediatric ARV treatment that is child-friendly and has better outcomes rather than receiving the normal ARVs given to adults. The Ministry of Health receiving this donation of new strawberry-flavored ARVs, a first of a kind in the country, has said the distribution will ensure that all infants born to HIV-infected mothers have access to prompt HIV diagnosis and treatment to ensure good quality of life. Harriet Chime with more details.
Kenya has received a donation of 47,000 packs of dolutegravir 50 milligrams and 28,000 packs of dolutegravir 10 milligrams. This new ARV strawberry flavored will suppress the viral load as they ensure proper transition to adolescents living with HIV.
We have seen that it is working for the children because initially we had some of the field drugs that were a bit bitter. And for these ones that the new introduction is working for them because they are saying that it is sweeter. And also health-wise they are okay. They have added some weight, some kilos, I can say. And also these drugs, something else that I have noticed, it has no side effects.
Currently, with approximately 1.5 million people living with HIV in Kenya, out of those 106,807 are children, therefore raising the need for children to benefit through this program by receiving the optimized ART regimens. Meanwhile, in the fight towards HIV and AIDS, the government continues to create a policy environment that will ensure an effective response. Reporting for Switch TV, my name is Harriet Chimea.
Well, Harriet Chimea's story takes us to a short commercial break. Stay tuned, we'll be back with more. Welcome back and thank you for keeping it Switch TV. On a question of the day we ask you tonight, are members of parliament to blame for the rise in price of fuel and high cost of living in Kenya? Are members of parliament to blame for the rise in fuel prices and high cost of living in Kenya? Send in your feedback through SMS line 111 at Switch TV Kenya and at Lincoln Ombogu. I'll read some of your feedback. Mike from Embu says, yes, these members of parliament are part and parcel of this menace. They pass bills without reading them. Hilda from Nanyuki says, every man for himself and God for us all. Now, moving on, subscription video on demand service Netflix has begun offering a free mobile plan with about 1/4 of its TV shows and movies in Kenya. Netflix, which streams in more than 190 countries, has taken other steps to boost usage in Africa, including the creation of a paid mobile-only plan and partnerships with local telecom operators to ease payments. Apollo James with more.
Kenyan youth have welcomed the move by Netflix to offer free Netflix streaming services in the country. In a statement released on today, Netflix began offering a free mobile plan with about 1/4 of its TV shows and movies in Kenya, a strategy aimed at sparking growth in the key African market.
It's a good move because we're going to get a lot of content, the entertainment for free, which is a good thing for the youth.
I'm sure they are bound to get a lot of young people who are very creative and who will put out creative content for Netflix to be enjoyed by the viewers.
The free plan will be available on Android mobile phones, will not have advertisements, and will feature Netflix movies and TV shows such as Money Heist, Bridgerton, and an African series Blood and Water, plus some of the programming the company licenses from others. Netflix hopes that the free plan will lead to users signing up for a paid option with more content. The free plan will roll out across Kenya in the next coming days. Non-paying Netflix subscribers in the country will not be counted in the paid total, and anyone above 18 years old can enroll in the free plan, creating up to 5 profiles, and no payment information will be required. However, some functions such as the ability to download or show a movie will not be available under the free plan. Netflix, which streams in more than 190 countries, has taken other steps to boost usage in Africa, including creation of a paid mobile-only plan and partnerships with local telecom operators to ease payments. Apollo James, Switch TV.
And from the business desk, with less than a year remaining before the end of President Uhuru Kenyatta's tenure, manufacturing, being one of the pillars of the Big Four agenda, has not yet managed to boost locally manufactured goods fully. This can be attributed to the effect of overtaxation on local goods, hence fueling the love for imported products and the influx of counterfeit goods in the country. At the same time, the Kenya Association of Manufacturers has launched Ukamilifu initiative in a bid to promote youth-led innovations in the country.
A sustainable world, bringing in more young people to share in industry's vision through their innovations and appealing to their always evolving cultures.
There's also been the fight against illicit trade that has been sustained throughout the past 5 years, and we've seen that they, together with other stakeholders, Kenya Association of Manufacturers has tried to ramp up that fight against illicit trade, and also to regulate the imports coming into the country, because that affects the competitiveness of local goods. But I think the one thing that we are still fighting with as a sector is the issue of overtaxation.
Africa is facing a debt crisis. This is according to Oxford Economics Africa report that adds that Africa's complex pandemic recovery will be shaped by how its governments respond to innovation in healthcare, mounting debt pressures, and regional insecurity against a geopolitical backdrop of a recalibration of relations with the rest of the world. Our business reporter Bron Wenda has more details.
Africa is facing a debt crisis, with the continent's combined debt-to-GDP ratio in 2020 reaching its highest level in 2 decades, according to a report by Oxford Economics Africa citing Africa's risk-reward index. There are more worrying cases such as Zambia, which became the first African country to default on its loan payment during COVID-19 last year.
We've seen
pushes, especially from civil society organizations and from governments such as Ethiopia, that are trying to get Western governments and other multilateral institutions to institute debt forgiveness.
The report further indicates that even as African governments reacted with often impressive speed to the pandemic, testing and treatment were constrained by a lack of capacity.
We're already seeing those green shoots of kind of that economic pushback or that economic recovery. The reward scores across Africa are beginning to increase quite nicely compared to 2020.
With Africa's economy contracting by 2.1% in 2020, 2021 looks a little bit more optimistic, even as more countries continue to fully reopen their economies and also increase their uptake of the vaccine. Brian Mwenda, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Brian Mwenda. Moving on, Konza Technopolis will establish an association for special economic zones to accelerate development and investments in the country. The move, aimed at championing the policies and conducive environment for special economic zones, seeks to attract foreign direct investments into the country as well as promote domestic investment. The engagement will further enable the upcoming special economic zones in the country to speak with one voice, safeguarding the investors' interest and championing for more development.
We come together and share best practices and make sure that we act in unison, because we are trying something new in Kenya that is very important for the country's future and very important for economic development. So therefore, with Konza, we have decided to form an association of special economic zones.
On the uptake of spaces in Konza Technopolis, we are now about 50% uptake of the phase 1. And we have additionally over 50 investors that are under discussion to take up more space at Konza Technopolis.
The use of technology to enhance efficiency will set performance standards by encouraging port users towards a more collaborative approach to regional trade that is according to the acting Kenya Ports Authority Managing Director, Ambassador John Mwangemi, while encouraging taking cognizance of the praise of the achievements by individual players. Ambassador Mwangemi said the event has provided a platform to the members of East African Business Council countries who use the port of Mombasa for the transshipment of their cargoes to discuss what they need to do as a region to grow the maritime trade. The event, which brought KPA stakeholders from the countries of Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania, DRC and South Sudan on the ease of doing business through digitization of the information channels that underpin the importation and exportation of everything in our East Africa.
Alright, that's first runner-up. Siginon Group. Best cargo, first runner-up. Asante sana.
Key stakeholders, this platform of port community is a place where we supported it because it gives us an opportunity to come and interact with all our customers and all our stakeholders.
It's now time to get sporty. Gospel women have advanced the FKF Women Cup semi-finals after beating Kayole Ladies 4-2 in